What up, everybody? It's Rios here. We got us a good reaction. We got something going on, something brewing between two giants respectively in their fields. We got LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith going back and forth between each other. LeBron being the giant in the NBA, playing basketball, and Stephen A. Smith, respectfully, one of the biggest, one of the best at what he does. You know, I may not agree with everything that he does, but I do have to respect the fact that he has been putting in work for a long time. Just signed a huge contract, I think $100 million, 5 years, something like that. So he's at ESPN First Take and doing his thing. He's got his own podcast. He's been going to different podcasts. Stephen A. is a big wig. He's out there in the NBA, but not to shadow over or overshadow LeBron. Let's get to it. So everything I'm about to talk about is just taking place this past week or whatnot, and it's on the heels of Stephen A. Smith pretty much being upset with LeBron about his comments after All-Star Weekend about not wanting to be the face. He can understand why Anthony Edwards doesn't want to be the face of the NBA. Like, hey, why would I want to be the face of the NBA? Blase, blase, because we get talked about so bad, all the pressure and having to do all this for people to just talk badly about you or put you in a bad light. And so Stephen A. went in on LeBron about all that and saying, hey, you showed up late. You didn't play. You told us everybody late that you weren't going to play, this and that, this and that. Just pretty much just shitting on him, right? But out of nowhere, all of a sudden, Stephen A. Smith has a different outlook, has a different opinion about LeBron. We know his GOAT talk is always about Michael Jordan, but here we go. This is his reply to the GOAT talk and his newfound outlook on who's the GOAT. Let's see it. Let's go to it right here.
I saw Wendy talking on Get Up this morning, and I've decided that, on this particular morning, I'm going to make some news. I know, and we all know, I'm putting nobody
Shout out to Brian
ahead of
Harris.
Michael Jordan. Nobody. Okay? And I stand on
I'm
it.
gonna listen to this.
Because my definition of the GOAT is you at your best against anybody else at their best. What did it equal?
This comes from a long time of him saying LeBron could never be the GOAT. He's not going to be the GOAT. MJ is the GOAT of all times. No one's going to change his mind.
Listening to Brian Winters, bringing up this nugget, there's nobody who has been as good for as long, meaning longevity, a sustained level of pristine excellence.
So did you just realize this? Is this something you just realized? You are an analyst. You watch the NBA. You are an NBA guy. Are you just realizing this? You telling me that Brian Windhurst is the reason that you realize this? Come on, man. You in the game. You watching this. You every day you analyze, and you're just coming to this conclusion?
LeBron James is the GOAT in that category.
Okay.
I don't think LeBron's best eclipses Michael Jordan's best.
I need you to define what you're saying by that.
LeBron, in other words, what Wendy said, nobody has been this good for this long. And I'm saying to you, because that's the reality, I feel the way that I feel that Jordan at his best is the greatest that I've ever seen. But Jordan wasn't that good for that long. Not this period. This is 22 years. LeBron James wins Player of the Month in 2005, and 20 years later, he wins Player of the Month. I mean, the brother's averaging 29, 10, and 7.
This is nothing new. This is not new information. This is nothing that just dropped in your lap. This is what you've been witnessing and seeing. But all of a sudden, the big guy, the guy who's the greatest,
shooting 40-something% from the field, from three-point range, rather, 55% from the field. He's been absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to sit up here today, although he annoyed the living hell out of me last week with, with all of that nonsense he was talking. In the end,
so you can't say anything about the media. You can't have any complaints. The media can say anything they want about you, but the minute you have a complaint about the media and how they're handling things, it's a big issue. Remember that.
And the greatness that he has put on display for as long as he has put on display. I'll even go a step further, knowing how I feel about Jordan.
How far are you going to go, Steven?
And I think anybody that
Mr.
knows
Smith?
basketball agrees with me. I actually think it's time to not even have the debate anymore, because that's how great LeBron James has been for as long as he has been that great. I can stand down and acknowledge that, because this is absolutely phenomenal. But it's not the 50,000 points. It's not even the way he's looked last night. It's not even the way he's looked this month. It's the fact that I'm watching this brother with Anthony Davis, without Anthony Davis, with Luka, without Luka.
What we've all been
this
seeing.
dude right here, and I'm looking at a guy at 40 years of age who's in better shape than 98% of the league, if not more.
Okay, so Stephen A says this stuff. So he goes in, he starts talking about this and acknowledging everything that LeBron is doing at the current moment through his whole career. 40 years old, balling, leading in statistics and categories on his team and this and that. But I just am tripping like, damn, how is it just now? You're saying Brian Windhurst says something that makes you realize and change your whole mind on all this stuff you've been saying for the longest. Never. He'll never be the GOAT. This and that, this and that. Just 2 weeks ago. But it must take a lot to admit something that you've been wrong about. It takes a lot from you, right? It must take a lot for you to have to say, you know what? I'm going to back up on everything that I said for all these years, and I'm changing my mind. I'm changing my opinion. LeBron is the GOAT. He's been doing this for so long, whatever his excuses are. Boom. He says LeBron is the GOAT. After he just went off on him about all the things he was saying and this and that. But then what has to be a shot at the ego, a shot at you, and just maybe just a low blow, a punch to the gut. You just give this dude his flowers. You just give LeBron his flowers. You say, I admit that I was wrong. He is this guy. Then this happens. Poor guy.
And we'll get to what that means for the Lakers and Knicks in just a moment. But, S.A., there was a moment in the game that we want to address.
This is shortly after he just crowned him the GOAT.
That was LeBron James coming up to me, unexpectedly, I might add, to confront me about making sure that I mind what I say about his son. Can't repeat the words because they ain't suited for FCC airwaves. Okay. That's what he was doing. I thought long and hard about this over the last few hours because I had no intentions, Molly, of talking.
The seriousness. Yeah. So I've thought. Stephen A. is super animated. These dudes is playing it up. He's playing it up. He's a ham. Yeah. So this is what I think about that. He said things that I couldn't say on the airways.
Talking about this at all.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because it was a one-on-one, I wouldn't say a conversation, but it was a one-on-one confrontation. But then I wake up and everybody from ESPN and my agent and everybody else were sending me that this thing had gone viral. And so ultimately it was unavoidable, and that is why.
So because it goes viral or because people are talking about it, now I just have to talk about this because I got to go against my better thought. I got to go against my professionalism. And it wasn't a conversation. It was a confrontation. I wasn't going to speak about it. But now that everybody's talking about it, it's viral, I must. It is my job and my duty to speak about this.
I have to discuss it now.
Oh, shoot.
That wasn't a basketball player confronting me. That was a parent. That was a father. And I can't sit here and be angry or feel slighted by LeBron James in any way in that regard. By all accounts, he's obviously a wonderful family man and a wonderful father who cares very, very deeply about his son.
Shout out.
And based on some of the comments that he had heard, or shall I say, I think he thought he heard.
Or he has seen.
He clearly took exception to some of the things that he heard me say, and he confronted me about it.
As he should.
For the record, his agent and friend, Rich Paul, has my number. Maverick Carter, who works under him, has my number. LeBron James knows how to get in contact with me if he wanted to. He never called, because had he called and wanted to talk to me, I would have accepted that call. Had he wanted to see me, I would have flown out and I would have seen him and I would have had a conversation man to man. But that is not what he elected to do. Instead, he elected to confront me while I was sitting courtside.
Why does he speak as if he's an authority on how somebody's supposed to react to him? Like, I can't come up to you and confront you man to man, face to face. Isn't that what we want to be done? Isn't that how we much more rather have it done? So things aren't left open to perspective, like perception, like, oh, I think this is what he meant by that. Like, no, I'm going to come talk to you, man. Let's get to it. But this is the altercation right after he just goated the man, gave him the crown and said he is the GOAT.
Ari Emanuel, the head of William Morris Endeavor, one of the agencies that represents me, along with Larry David, was sitting courtside. I was with them for the game. And he walked right up to me and he said what he had to say. And apparently he feels like I was slighting his son. Now let me tell you
and him as a father.
What I would have said if we were in a different environment, because I was not going to engage in a confrontation at that particular moment in that setting. But if we had...
I'm not going to give him the opportunity to say what he would have said, because I don't like it when people say, you know what, I would have done, or woulda, coulda, shouldas. I don't like woulda, coulda, shouldas. I didn't want to engage in the confrontation. Apparently you're in a confrontation. You're saying that it was already confrontational. You mean to tell me you can't speak your mind without it being aggressive? You get paid to talk. You are a journalist, a media personality. So the moment that you get the opportunity to speak for yourself to someone that has a opposing thought about what you're doing, you shy away from it. But then you come on TV the next day, oh, it's viral now. Let's talk about it because I have no option but to talk about it because everybody is. Well, if it had been another scenario, I would have said this. I would have done this. I don't like it when people say shoulda, woulda, couldas when you had the opportunity the night before. So he goes on here and goes to say, yeah, he was talking as a father and he was talking about his son. Yeah, talk about basketball. Talk about my son not being good at basketball or whatever. But when you say cut it out as a father, what you're doing is hurting your son. And that's probably where I feel the misstep was and where LeBron called him out about it. But he goes on to say and explain what he would have said if it wasn't on the court side. But then he follows that up on ESPN. And he jumps to Gilbert Arenas' podcast. He goes to Gilbert Arenas' podcast and he really takes off the cuffs and really just goes for it because he's no longer on his platform. He's on somebody else's platform. He starts cursing, trying to be a real dude or however he is when he's being who he's supposed to be, I guess, or who he claims to be. But we'll go to that right now.
Third and fourth quarter, right. Bron pulled up on you, wanted some smoke with you.
Yep.
Wanted some smoke with you. Like smoke, well, people have another idea of what smoke is, but he wanted to have a conversation with you. What's the smoke about? Keep my son's name out your mouth. Stop talking about this father-son shit. Talk about basketball.
Brief interaction. Obviously, LeBron took issue with things that you have said, particularly about him and Bronny, right? So here's the clip. It was very quick. Tried to get the liberating. I hope the Legends got at least close to what happened. But I want to spin it forward to the Lakers-Celtics game on Saturday. Before the game, the ESPN Twitter account posted a clip of Richard Jefferson and LeBron talking before the game. The Legends once again on it. They seem to be talking about that situation that went down on Thursday during the Lakers. Obviously, Lakers won that game. You were there. You saw Luka out there cooking LeBron.
He said that's the only thing I'm tripping on. That's the only thing I'm tripping about. I've gone 20 years without having to talk about this cat. But now I've had enough. When you cross the line, you cross the line. It's okay. It's okay for another man to check another man and say, hey, man, you crossed the line here. Is that no longer respected? Or because he's a celebrity, he's such a big celebrity, you're not allowed to talk to me or confront me because people are watching?
As well, but that's neither here nor there. But you addressed it on Friday, First Take, and on the Stephen A. Smith Show, your podcast on YouTube. You addressed the Bron and RJ exchange on Monday on your show. So What do you make of LeBron confronting you in the aftermath of that situation?
I thought it was weak. I thought it was some bullshit. But in the moment,
Got on a Suge Knight outfit.
I knew that I was listening to a
Tupac
father.
Snoop Dogg outfit.
Here's what happened. I'm represented by William Morris Endeavor. The founder of William Morris Endeavor, Ari Emanuel, had courtside seats right next to the Lakers bench. He had Larry David with him, star of Curb Your Enthusiasm. I'm sitting with them. I get there in the first quarter.
Shout out to Gilbert Arenas.
I'm sitting courtside.
Great platform.
And
Great
I stand
podcast.
up, and then I got my head turned. And then I turned back around, and a lot of people thought this was the end of the game or something like that. This was in the third quarter.
So what?
Apparently,
So what?
LeBron had walked out of the timeout, and I turn around, and he's right here in my face. He said, yo, you got to stop talking shit about my son. You got to stop fucking with my son. That's my son. That's my son. And I was like, what? He said, nah, fuck that. I said, yo, let's talk later. He's like, fuck that. Nah, fuck that. You got to stop fucking with my son. And I said, all right, though.
This shit wasn't
And
even
he
that
walked
long.
off. So I remember during a timeout in the first quarter, seeing Bronny. And Bronny looked over at me, and he had this sad look on his face.
Oh my God.
And I'm imagining Pop saw that shit. It hit him.
This self-aggrandizing shit that he be doing, man, like he's making an assumption. This is an assumption. So he sees Bronny sad, or he says he thinks he sees Bronny sad on the bench or wherever he's at. And at that moment, that's when it hit LeBron. I know. That's when it hit him. And that's when he decided that enough is enough. He can't take this shit no more. This fool, Stephen A. Smith, is hilarious, man.
And he couldn't hold it, and he rolled up on me. And so when I went on
This fool telling stories like Soulja Boy or one of these cats telling these amazing stories. And I went here and did this and that. And this is how it rolled out and this is how it happened. Now, when you see what you see and you do, come on, man. Come on, Stephen.
the air the next morning, first things first, believe it or not, I know this is shocking for people to believe, but I didn't have any intentions on talking about it.
Yeah,
until
for
I
sure.
woke up that morning and saw that the shit had gone viral. Once the shit had gone viral, the bosses at ESPN, now you gotta talk about it. This is you and him. You gotta talk about it. I said, fine.
So wait, so is he saying that he talks about whatever they want him to talk about? He doesn't get to say no? Like, no, I'm not talking about that. He doesn't get to tell them no. So he's just literally a puppet. Whatever we want you to talk about, you go talk about, boy. You talk about what we want you to talk about. What do you mean no? Is that what he's admitting? Is that what he's saying right there? It went viral, so my bosses told me, you know what? You gotta respond. There's no option. What? Damn, that's a cold contract.
So I go on the air and I said, the first thing that I'm gonna do is establish that this was a father talking to me, not a player. And that was what threw me off. And I was glad, even though I thought that he misrepresented the argument, I was glad he did. Because you see, what he was really talking about, which was confirmed with his conversation with Richard Jefferson, is that I was talking about him as a father.
Right.
And so what happens is that had he said that to me, then I wouldn't have been thrown off. I'd have came right back at him. Yes, I was. I was talking about you. You did this shit, which I'll get to in a second. But because...
What did he do? Okay, you saying he got his son on the team, he got him drafted, this and that. And everybody's saying that the pressure, let him talk. Everybody's saying that the pressure was too much. Why would you do this to your son? And now look at him today. To this day, he's flourishing. Just had, I think, 39 in the G League, had 17 the other day in the NBA. Now everybody's changing their tune about how they singing about Bronny.
Because he didn't do that, I said, fine, you let it go. Mind you, I just agreed to my contract. Courtside, that day was when it was announced. It's all over everywhere.
We talked about it.
Right? Yeah. It's a nationally televised game. The cameras are rolling, and I'm like, if I do anything, this is gonna be a scene.
So you having all those thoughts?
We can sit up here
Just
in
as
front all
somebody's
we
talking
want
to
to
you.
and act like we don't work for somebody.
What's the scene? A nigga telling you to keep my son's name out your mouth? That's the scene? Like, if that's a scene to you, that is basic. That's minimal, homie. Like, that's nothing.
Damn it, I work for Walt Disney. And if I had gotten into some shit with him at courtside right there at that moment, no matter how right I would have been, it would have been wrong. And
What would you gotten into him about? What would you have done, Stephen A? This is the shit that's got me tripping. Like, you would have done what? You didn't like the way he got at you? What was you gonna do? What was gonna be your rebuttal? Let's take this out back. I'm about to take my jacket off, about to catch a fade, a square one, a fair one. Let's get in this square, let's go. Or were you just gonna have an intelligent conversation like, nah, man, you tripping. This is what it's about. Why you couldn't have did that? I don't see what's wrong with that.
I was like, I'm not gonna do this.
Oh my God.
But once I saw the tape of him talking to Richard Jefferson Saturday night in Boston, that was when I got really pissed because that was confirmation.
Okay, so he's pissed
now. Let's get to the father thing. And I'm so glad y'all asked me about this shit because all I would ask is that I've been around for 30 years. Tell me the parent that said they heard me talking about them.
Did he not know that they was not gonna bring this up? It's the hottest topic. I'm so glad y'all brought this up. Nigga, what do you think we brought you here for? Why you think you here? Why? Of course we want Stephen A on the show. Gilbert was on First Take. Yeah, but what do you think? We was going to bring you here and not talk about you getting confronted by LeBron?
I've never done it. What happened was this man was the one that said, you want me, draft him. I'll come play anywhere he's at. It ain't even about the money.
I'll do the same thing.
This man is the one who said he's better than some of the NBA players are right now when he was in high school. If you go back and look at the tape,
best of the
back
G League right
then
now.
I said, stop. You can't do this. If you do that shit, you're bringing more pressure on your son. LeBron, stop. I said it then. This is before he got drafted.
Maybe he's with that. I'm trying to put the most pressure on him as possible. I'm about to build a monster. I'm building a beast. I'm not about to run from the pressure. Come on, man. Let's get to it. Bring it on. And right now, he is balling. Like, it seems like. And also, who are you to question a father about what he's doing, what he thinks is right for his son? Who are you to tell him that what he's doing is wrong? Especially to LeBron. Like, shit, he's making wise decisions all around. He's making wise decisions all around. Business decisions, family decisions, doing a good job. Bryce balling at Sierra Canyon. I think they just won the championship. Who are you, Stephen A., to tell the guy you just called the GOAT, the greatest ever for the longest time? Who are you to tell him that what he's doing for his son is wrong and that it's not going to work out? You are not Cleo. You don't know the future. But now you're so concerned. I'm so concerned with the well-being of this player. Stop doing that as a father. You're hurting your son. The pressure you're putting on him. What?
Drafted. Stop doing this. He goes to USC. He got the heart ailment. I'm like, thank God he's okay. He gonna be all right. But I'm not gonna go see him at USC, just like I didn't go see him at Sierra Canyon, because like I ain't see Melo's son. I heard your son is all world. I ain't see him. Your son, I never saw these guys until they came pro, because I know. No, it's not that. Okay. I know that because of who I am and what I've established for myself in this industry, if I walk into an arena everybody is looking for me to critique that person. And I don't want to do that because they
Oh
on the
my
come
God.
up. I don't want to, I'm not covering college, I'm covering pro.
And they kids.
Huh? And they kids. Well, I'm saying,
They
but if I was
get-
a
they
college,
professionals,
if I was
they
a
getting
college
paid.
reporter, then I would have had to, but I wasn't. So
They getting
why am I
paid.
going to be
So
there?
you're not
I
covering
didn't want to
Cooper
put that
Flag?
extra pressure. So I never went.
So you don't cover March Madness? You don't cover Cooper Flag at Duke? Going instant hit, played against USA Olympic team. So now all of a sudden, I don't talk about college athletes. I don't do that. I'm a professional. So you don't talk about March Madness. Oh, okay, for sure. You don't talk about the next college player coming out. You don't watch it. All right, for sure. Okay.
I went on national television and announced to the world, I'm not going to see him. He goes to USC. I'm not going to see him.
Hater.
It's too much. It's too much. And
Too
then now
much
he's
for
got to
you to
overcome
go.
this heart ailment, so I can't judge him. But then they said, oh, he going pro. So then once you say he's going pro, okay, you're talking to the scouts and the evaluators and everybody else. Yo, man, this is them. He'll be lucky to be a second-round pick. He'll be...
What they saying now about Bronny? What are the scouts saying now about Bronny? What is that whole podcast right there? Gilbert Arenas, Kenyon Martin, the other brother, all them. What are they all saying? Swaggy P. What are they saying now about Bronny? So this is the thing, man. You cannot listen to the naysayers out there. You can't listen to people telling you, live in fear, man. Be scared. What you're doing is hurting. When you got a plan, you have a plan and you know what you want to do, and you've succeeded in life at everything that you've tried to do. And then you got these other people over here, these people that ain't played a lick of basketball or ain't no good. I'm not saying Stephen A., but the other scouts and this and that, like he may be this or possibly this. We don't know. To within a year, now everybody has changed their tune. What if we go through life and listen to these naysayers, these scary people living in fear, the spirit of fear? Nah, man, don't do that. He's not this and that. That whole family is succeeding right now. That whole family is succeeding. Don't listen to these fools. Everybody that said Bronny wasn't nothing has all changed their mind. Just in a matter of a couple months. Just maybe since January. Now they're all saying, oh, I was wrong. But also the point is you got into it with the father about saying he was wrong about his son and what he was doing was going to hurt him. But on the other side of that coin, his son is succeeding, doing what his dad asked him to do, or his son or his father making plays for him. This is the plan. This is how we going to do it. You told him to not do none of that. And it's all working out now. Who are you to sit on your chair? You're a journalist, a media guy. Let the shit play out. It's awesome. Father playing with son. But so with that happening, then LeBron says, I've had enough. And he goes on the Pat McAfee show. And I don't even know if LeBron does interviews like this. I've never seen him kind of in this light. Or when he does his barbershop talks on HBO, I think it was on HBO. He used to have a barbershop talk thing that he did that was pretty vicious. And you get to see him in a different light, talking to different artists, musicians, celebrities, singers, rappers, whatever, whoever they wanted, they was having barbershop talk. But on this interview with Pat McAfee, it's a bit different. I kind of saw him in a different light.
Hey, legit, that feels like a moment that had been brewing for a long time.
He's like on a Taylor Swift tour run right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're watching it.
Yep.
That's cold. That's cold. And Stephen A. has been talking about him for hours. Like, if you put it all together, it's probably like a little bit more over an hour. Spending a lot of time talking about this, going on different podcasts. So he's right. It is a little Taylor Swift tour.
We're all seeing it.
Oh, yeah.
You're seeing it as well. It's,
He literally, it started off with, I didn't want to address it.
yeah, sure.
I didn't want to address it. I wasn't going to address it. But since the video came out, I feel the need to address it.
Yeah, it went viral. You would
it
not
went
talk
viral.
about it.
Are you kidding me? If there's one person that couldn't wait to the video to drop so you can address it, it's your ass. Like, seriously, and like another, he completely like missed the whole point. The whole point.
Because he doesn't want to look bad.
Never would I ever not allow people to talk about the sport, criticize players about what they do on the court. That is your job to criticize or to, be in a position where, okay, if a guy's not performing, that is all part of the game. That's all part of the game. But when you take it and you get personal with it, it's my job to not only protect my damn household, but protect the players. And
he's the face of the NBA, or he's the go-to guy at the NBA. What he does, the NBA does.
I think a lot of the media, including him, and I know he's gonna be happy as hell. He's gonna be smiling from ear to ear when he hears me talking about him again. Oh my God, he's gonna get home and grab some ice cream out of the fucking freezer and sit in his chair and his tidy whities on the couch.
I hope at some point
When's the last
two.
time you heard somebody say tidy whities? What the hell, LeBron? It is tidy whitey.
You do get a chance, but you're right.
Dude, relax, bro. Relax. Seriously, just
Kind of on that note, Bronny, your son, he's obviously had that inspiration in the home.
So he goes on. LeBron says that he does that and talks about why and this and that. Nothing major. Not even maybe a little bit over 5 minutes. Nothing major. But that comes on right before. So he goes, he talks his mess, he drops some bombs on him and kind of shits on Stephen A. Smith a little bit, right? He shits on him a little bit like he didn't even miss the point, and this and that. But then he goes, and that's the thing, like it's ESPN versus ESPN. Pat McAfee is on ESPN, Stephen A. Smith is on ESPN. And then ESPN numbers are down, right? Like, just let's not get caught up in the drama-fueled shit like, oh, let's get LeBron over here and then to get this and we'll get our numbers up and do it over here. That's what I think a lot of it is behind that. Not that I don't think LeBron wasn't into it with Stephen A., but ESPN is making the most of it because they want to make money, right? So let's send him on Pat McAfee on ESPN, who both Stephen A. and Pat McAfee are pretty much battling for a top guy at ESPN. And I feel like people are having better time over there on Pat McAfee's show anyway. But he goes on there, does all that talking, and then on the heels of him talking crap about Stephen A., saying all that stuff about him on Pat McAfee on ESPN, he goes and does this. Same day. Damn, that's just crazy.
LeBron's got it with 4, with 3. Luka on its way. No, tapped up.
No, it won't count.
Is it going to count or not?
I think
goes and hits a game winner. A game tip-in to win the game.
LeBron at the buzzer.
That was
So not only can I talk crap about you and answer, this is,
LeBron at the buzzer. They will look at.
but I'm also at the top of my game, son. I'm going to talk crap about you in the morning, and I'm going to go over here and win the game. Then you got to talk about me winning the game. You got to talk about the tip-in. You got to talk about the Lakers. As mad as you are, or as bad as you feel about what's going on, you still got to talk about me. Then I can go to your arena and go on a podcast and on a platform and talk about you. Then go play basketball and win a game with a tip-in at 40 years old after you call me the GOAT. You cannot get on the basketball court and win a basketball game. This is all you got, is to be able to get on here and say your opinions and get personal when you're supposed to be a professional analyst and you're talking about your contract and you're worried about Walt Disney and this and that. You don't want to show your ass. But then you go on ESPN and say, I didn't even say all the things that I could say about you. I didn't even say all the things I could say about you. I could have said that you didn't go to Kobe's funeral because you're not a good person, which was a lie because he was there. But he said he didn't want to be seen on camera. He didn't want attention to be taken away from it and put on him. You didn't go to D Wade's Hall of Fame and D Wade is the guy to help you get your championship. He was a good friend to you and you didn't go. So now we taking it from sports because you mad. Nigga just roasted you on somebody else's podcast after you just did your Taylor Swift tour. Now he responds for about 5 minutes. They ask him questions. He's going to answer the questions. Then he goes and hits a game winner. You got to talk about it. This shit got your panties in a bunch. You don't even know how to reply. You reply with some BS by saying you didn't go to, like, what your go-to is Kobe's funeral? That's your go-to? You a sports analyst, but then you start talking about people personally on ESPN, saying that he didn't go to Kobe's funeral? That's low. So these are things that you've already had in your head, in your mind. These are things that you thought of him. So you're a liar also. You don't like him. I could have said this, but I didn't. So these are things that you're thinking. These are things that you feel about him. And you feel a certain kind of way about him. You made a whole lie up in your mind that you believed. That was a lie. Judging a man off a lie that you made up. But then he had to go and issue an apology. You can't see that. But he goes and apologizes and basically says, I misspoke. I was wrong. I apologize. I can't even find the clip of where he says it on ESPN, on First Take. They probably try to get rid of it. But he did say that. You took it personally. You're supposed to be the older man, the older gentleman in the game. You always talk about the 30 years in the game. I'm this professional. I'm over here 13 years in a row. We've been number one. But the moment somebody talks about you or brings up something you did wrong, you lose it. You lose your shit. LeBron completely destroyed. LeBron looks like the good guy in here. You look like the villain. You done turned yourself into villain because you don't know how to react. You acting like a buster. Taylor Swift tour, like Bron said. Then you start bringing up lies. Start trying to attack a man's character. Stephen A., you're not looking very professional, man. You're not looking very professional. And then he goes on with Kendrick Perkins and Kendrick Perkins, like, come on, man. Get over it. You lost. Take this L. Stop acting like the other cat that is not like us. Stop acting like the not like us guy. Take the L and move on. Said I would have swung if he would have hit, like, Stephen A., come on, man. And then LeBron, after the game winner, puts out a tweet of a video of Stephen A. trying to punch or do uppercuts, and he puts womp, womp, womp. A complete destruction. The winner is LeBron James. Stephen A. Stay humble, cuz. Stay humble. Do what you do. You're great at what you do. But once you start getting out of bounds, you're the villain. You look silly. You're supposed to be the professional. These cats is just athletes, man. They professional athletes. You the journalist, you the analyst. Whatever it is, the media personality. Be great at what you do. Stop. Don't get taken out your box, taken out your square. Hold your L. Hold your L, cuz. It's okay. Everybody loses a battle. Move on. You survive. It'll be the next conversation next week. Thinking about something totally different. But this was a timeline reaction to Stephen A. And he's got to be upset about, damn, I gave him the crown. I said he was the GOAT now. Now he's confronting me courtside after I done said he's this great. So I'll talk about him. Then he talks about me. Then he goes, hits a game winner. Then his son has these amazing games, 39 points, then comes in 17 points in the NBA. L, all around. You just go back to the drawing board, cuz. Stephen A. Smith, Mr. Smith, you lost this one. This is a loss. LeBron, you got the W. Now, hopefully, we all move along. We move along. But just to say, no one's safe from the drama. No platform is safe from the drama. They going to run it up. They going to run these numbers up like, oh, shoot. We got LeBron beefing with one of our analysts and this and that. Like, okay, run that up. We need these numbers up. But then Stephen A. go lie and say some stupid shit. He got to go retract his statements and shit like, I misspoke. No, you lied, homie. And we all like to say, I misspoke. No, you lied. But this is Reactions with Rios. Just reacted to Stephen A. LeBron, the latest drama going on. Hopefully everybody out there having a good one. Have a blessed day. I'm out.